views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I've got you covered like a blanket of the Doc Bob Lee, and we are here. Welcome, everybody, to Open BXRX. And, coming up on today's show, another good one, another fantastic show. Coming up, we'll hear from the founder of an organization that is finding ways to connect authors and students during the pandemic. And we'll speak to the founder of a local run group to learn about how they stayed motivated during the pandemic. After that, we'll speak to a music teacher to learn about the wonderful opportunities the organization is providing our youth. And then Bobby C, kaboom, steps into the room with the latest in the world of sports. And then lastly, we'll hear from a retired police officer who will share some perspective on the relationship between law enforcement and Black and brown communities. So all of this and more headed your way. We are wide open. Stay right there. Hey everyone, how are you? I'm your host, Dr. Bob Lee, and you're watching Open. It's that live interactive program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. You can stay connected to us through social media at BronxNet TV. Now, leading things off, our first guest is the founder and executive director of Meet the Writers Incorporated. She's no stranger to the show. She's been here before, and she has a lot. She's doing some great things in our community. And she's here today to talk about how her organization is connecting students with authors from all over the world. So please welcome to the show, Michele Weisman. Michele, how are you?
Dr. Bob, it's so great to see you. Thank you so much for having me again. This has been a tough year, but it's been provided so many opportunities for Meet the Writers. It's been incredible and something that I didn't envision a year ago. But we've been able to have
authors. It's been a tough year, but how did you make out? How did you come through?
We've been able virtually to connect students with authors in Massachusetts, like the Pulitzer Prize-winning author Junot Diaz has virtually visited a high school in Washington Heights. We also had a poet, Jimmy Santiago Baca from New Mexico. And this week, author Christine Platt visited second graders in Brooklyn. So it's been amazing to have authors from all over the country.
Yeah. Give us a little touch of what the organization is all about. I know you bring writers and authors together, but tell us the whole story.
We start with a collaboration between Meet the Writers and a school, usually a Title I school in New York City is my primary audience. And we figure out who is the best author to visit, to meet these young people. And we're looking for someone who might look like these people and look like their families and write things that really touch their lives. And so it's been an incredible opportunity to do that. A year ago, I didn't think that a virtual environment would work. But what's been amazing is that authors have been really up close and personal with students. Students are not in the back row in the auditorium. They're on their computer and really connecting with authors. Yep. And authors are sharing their lives.
I think that's an excellent. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I had this experience with this poet in New Mexico who I mentioned, Jimmy Santiago Baca.
Uh-huh.
And he was talking about how for a part of his life, he was incarcerated, and that's where he learned to read and write. And he realized that reading and writing made him so powerful. And so students at this high school in Washington Heights were asking him questions and also making comments and saying, you know, that really relates to my life. And the poet was able to say, you should be president. You have lived experience. You should be the person who is running our country. And there was this powerful exchange of ideas that a year ago today I wouldn't believe was possible. But this
Yeah.
virtual environment has created so many opportunities.
Yes. So when school opens back up, you heard the mayor come on earlier saying that the schools should be fully open in September. How are you going to work this? I know a lot of people are going to want to keep that virtual thing going, but you still want to go out and be in the auditorium.
You know, I think it's going to be both. I didn't think so a year ago, but I mean, some of the principals I've worked with have said, you know, these virtual experiences are more powerful in some ways because of this kind of close connection. It's been really sweet. I worked with students from pre-K to even School of Education students in college. But these young kids, like second graders, you know how to raise their hand and they lean in and they have something they want to say.
Yeah.
And they've been very adept at making connections to these students. I've also worked with a division of the Department of Ed called the Middle School Quality Initiative, which is a consortium of 155 middle schools. And we've been able to do events where we have over 600, 700, 800, close to 1,000 students. We just did an event with the author of New Kid, who grew up in the Bronx, Jerry Craft. He's an award-winning graphic novelist. And he reached so many middle school students. It was so powerful to be able to reach so many students at once, which is something else that this virtual environment allows.
Yeah, I think we're all going to do both. It's safe, and you can reach out to more people. For us here, I mean, we can pull in interviews from across the country. Somebody from California, somebody from we had somebody from Russia, and somebody from China, and it's just a easier way of doing things. But I still need that touchy feely thing. You need to be upfront and personal, and have that one-on-one and look somebody in the eyes in person. So I think they're going to do both. You're right.
I'm with you. I think it's going to be both. I mean, I wanted to talk about what you say when you close the show, which is you can or you can't. The choice is up to you. I've been thinking a lot about that.
Yeah.
And I think our program really addresses what young people think is possible. What can they do? And I think
you said
meeting
you hit it right
people,
on the head. It's what you think. So if you think you can, you will. And the saying goes, whether you think you can or you can't, either way, you're right. Either way, you're right. So think that you can, and you will.
I think that really ties into the mission of our program, which is making kids, giving kids the opportunity to see that there are authors who are doing work that they could do, or writers. And I think it just really expands the possibilities of what they think they can do. So I really appreciate what you said.
Thank you, Michele. Michele, you have anything coming up that we should know about?
Coming up, more virtual visits with more schools. I'm always looking for people who want to support the program, either individuals, businesses, foundations. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to figure out how to work together.
Yeah. What exactly do you need? I'm going to give you my camera for a second, okay? I'm going to give it to you. Michele, this belongs to you. Tell everybody what you need.
Thank you, Bob. I'd love to know that we have support behind our program in terms of funding for what we're doing. I'd love to say to every school, for every program, every student gets a signed book to keep. That would be amazing. And I'd love help spreading the word. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
And where can we go to maybe make a donation, maybe to volunteer or share information with you in your organization?
Yes, thank you. We have a website, meetthewriters.org, and we're active on Facebook and Instagram, and we'd love to hear from anyone.
All right. We would like to come in and sit in on some of the things that you're doing.
Well, when we're in person, I'd love to have you. I think it would be really fantastic. I'd love to connect you with students.
Yeah, all you have to do is give us the dates, and we'll see if we can mix and match those dates and come on out and be a part of it all.
Thank you so much. This was a great opportunity.
You're welcome. Give us the website one more time.
All right, meetthewriters.org.
Meet the Writers Incorporated, Michele Weisman, founder and executive director. Thank you, Michele. Always a pleasure to see you, and always come. You're always welcome. This is your place.
Thank you, Bob. Great to see you again.
You got it. All right, we'll take a break right here. I've got more open coming up next. Welcome back. I'm the Doc Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS, and you're watching Open. And we're wide open. We're going to give it to you just like we owe you something, all right? Our next guest is the founder of Milestyle. It's a beautiful organization, and it's a Bronx-based run crew. And he's here to highlight the work that he is doing and what the group is doing to inspire healthy eating, healthy living within our borough, and how they have navigated the challenges of the pandemic. So please welcome to the show, Miguel Hernandez. Miguel, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Mr. Lee.
I heard you were running, not for office stuff.
No, I'm not running for office. I'm literally running in the streets, but I'm not running for any type of political office. That is not my forte. I'll leave that to the professionals.
Oh, a lot of people are ready to vote for you because they want to run also.
If they want to vote for me, sure. I don't know what they're going to vote for, but yeah, no political office I'm running for. Just trying to help out the Bronx community the best way that I know how, and that's through the sport of running.
That's what we're going to vote for you for. Helping people with healthy eating and healthy living, and keeping people in the borough. You know, well, people from all over, all throughout the 5 boroughs can join up and run with you, right?
Absolutely. It's not closed to Bronx residents. I mean, we've had people from Manhattan, Queens, Brooklyn, all over, New Rochelle, all over, you know, the city come by and run with us. So yeah, it's open to anyone and everyone.
Now, Miguel, when you first started, you mentioned this euphoric type of feeling that got you hooked, and said, I got to continue doing this because it's making me conscious about eating well and keeping my body right, and doing the things necessary, getting enough sleep, drinking enough water. All those things come into play.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some people call it the runner's high, and that's a real thing. When people when people exercise, naturally your endorphins are increasing, so you feel good, you feel better. It doesn't matter if you're lifting weights, if you're doing karate or gymnastics or whatever it is, whatever type of exercise you're putting your body through. Your brain is releasing these endorphins, and so it may be painful as you're doing it. It may not feel great, but afterwards you feel absolutely outstanding. And that's how I felt when I started running. After I would finish my run, I would just feel so much better. Like my mental, my psyche felt so much better. I had a better mood. I was clear-headed. I was able to focus better, and it's really a feeling that I wanted to share with so many other people, especially people within the Bronx. I was born and raised in the Bronx. And it's really something that I wanted other Bronx residents to experience along with me. I wanted them to have that same feeling of clarity, of happiness, of having fun, and of course of staying healthy. So Milestyle was created in 2017, and we've been rocking ever since.
You started it?
Yes, I started the group Milestyle. It started, I was inspired by other run groups. There are run groups in northern Manhattan, Washington Heights. There's run groups in Harlem, run groups in Brooklyn. There are other run groups in the Bronx as well. There's Bronx Soul, Boogie Down Bronx Runners. These are other amazing Bronx crews that have been out here for a couple of years. And so they served as the inspiration for me to create Milestyle. And yeah, I mean, here we are still rocking 3-4 years later.
Yeah, and when you want to start something, there's always obstacles, but you got to go over them, go under them, go around them.
Yeah, absolutely.
What were some of your obstacles, and how did you come out of it?
I think some of the obstacles was just trying to convince people that running was a fun thing to do. When people hear the word run or running, they get
Sometimes they
intimidated
run.
by it. Yeah, they'll run away from it, right? Like they don't like the sound of it. They think it's boring. They think it's too difficult. They think it's like, too tedious or whatever. And not realizing that running can become a very fun, positive, community-oriented, event. And so that was kind of like the difficulty at first, is trying to convince people within the Bronx to join us on these community runs, because if it's one thing that you or I noticed in the Bronx, is that you don't really see too many people running outdoors, right? It's if you go to Queens, you go to Brooklyn, you go to Manhattan, you go anywhere to these other boroughs, you'll see a ton of people running outside. You come to the Bronx, you don't see that too often. And it's something that people like myself, people like the founders of Bronx Soul and Boogie Down Bronx Runners, we are trying to change that narrative the best way that we know how. And we're trying to bring people together and run through the streets of the Bronx to show everybody else that running is an okay thing to do. It's fun, it's positive, it's beneficial in so many different ways. So that was probably just the hardest thing for us to accomplish.
Yeah.
We would just, we started out with a very small group. Our first couple of runs, we had maybe like 4 or 5 people run with us, but you continue on every single day, every single week. You try to promote it as much as you can. And right before COVID hit, we were seeing anywhere from 50 to 60 people run with us on a weekly basis. And this is during the winter season. Like this is January, February, it's freezing cold outside and people are still showing up running with us. And then COVID took place and kind of slowed things down a lot. But
how did you run through the pandemic?
Well, in terms of group running, that had to stop, right? We had to completely shut down the group runs as recommended by the CDC and the World Health Organization. And of course, the governor, we completely stopped meeting up as a group, but we encouraged people to run, I guess, virtually or whatever you want to call it, run on your own. We didn't want people to stop running just because of this pandemic. We wanted people to continue running. We wanted people to continue staying healthy through the sport of running. So we would kind of just promote these, run on your own type of things, wear a mask. We call them the masked miles, right? You wear a mask and you run your miles. And so that's what we did to kind of keep the mile style group moving. And then we also did something called HIIT at home. HIIT stands for high intensity interval training, HIIT. And so I would do these kind of home workouts on Wednesday nights where I would just get on Instagram Live and we would do like 45 minutes to an hour of just like some push-ups, jumping jacks, lunges, crunches, stuff like that we could do at home. And that's how we kind of just not to hit at home. Not at home, no. The virtual kind of Instagram Live, workouts we stopped doing. But as we're running, we actually do that during the run. Like we'll run halfway. Let's say we're doing a 3-mile run. We'll do a mile and a half out, and then we'll stop. We'll do 5 minutes of high intensity work. Jumping jacks, lunges, squats, burpees, planks, whatever, that type of stuff. And then we'll run back to our starting point. So the HIIT work and the running, that's all part of our weekly event, our weekly community run.
But now you get back into the group runs, right? Since they're opening things up.
Yeah, we started back up. I mean, we had shut down for months, but we started back up roughly, I think it was 3 weeks ago. We started back running and opened it up to the community again. We have a great relationship with the Point Community Development Center, which is in Hunts Point. It's a beautiful community center that's been there for 25, 26 years. And it's a pivotal, integral part to the Hunts Point community. And they've been super hospitable to us, and they allow us to use the community center as the meeting point and the ending point. If we need to use the restroom, we can use the restroom. If we need to store our personal belongings, we can store it there. And they've been our home base for, I think, maybe 2 years, 2.5 years, something like that. And so we're back, we're open, we're letting as many people come as they want, but of course, we're still following the CDC guidelines. Everyone has to wear a mask. We are still providing hand sanitizer. And, we're just trying to keep our distance for right now. I mean, a lot of people are getting vaccinated, which is great. But yeah, we're back open to the public.
Now, Miguel, there are a lot of people out there that have it in their mind. They want to do this. The mind is, is something else. But you have to cross that line to get the gear and just get ready to do it and actually do it. What do you tell those people that want to run, didn't actually do it, and they want to start? They're not going to run 3 miles right off the bat, but maybe they can start walking. What do you tell them?
Yeah, I mean, I always tell people to kind of go at their own pace. Start however you want to start, but as long as you make that first step, it's all about putting one foot in front of the other. You don't have
step.
It's literally make that first step, right? You're just literally putting one foot in front of the other, whether it's a walk or maybe a very slow jog. Maybe you just, kind of jog around your block, or maybe there's a local park that you live next to. Don't be afraid to step outside, put some sneakers on, and just go for either a nice walk or an easy jog. It may feel difficult at first, but you will absolutely feel the benefits of that exercise when you're done. And before you know it, you're going to start to get hooked on it. You're going to feel like, damn, I need to do this again. I need to run again. I need to walk again. And you start building up your endurance and your speed. And before you know it, you're like running, faster than you ever thought you would. You're running longer distances. It takes time to get there, but with consistency, you just got to build it up. With consistency, with dedication, with some time, running can become a really big part of your life. And it's become a huge part of my life. It's become a big part of Milestyle, which has affected so many other lives here in the Bronx. And but yeah, I mean, take your time at the beginning. Don't worry about what other people are doing. Don't worry about how fast other people are going, how many miles they're running. Forget all that.
Stay in your lane.
Yeah, stay in your lane. Don't worry about anybody else. Don't let anybody else influence you and make you think that you have to run fast or that you have to run long distance. Go at your own pace. Take your own time and listen to your body. If your body's telling you, hey, I can't do this anymore, then you stop, you relax, you go back home, whatever. If your body's saying, hey, I think I could do a little bit more. I think I can go faster. I think I can go a little bit longer. Try it out. And you'll be happy that you did.
Where can we go to find out more? You got social media, website?
Absolutely. To find out more about Milestyle, you can visit us at our Instagram page, which is at Milestylers, MILESTYLERS, at Milestylers. When you go to the Instagram page, you're going to see this logo right here. This is the letter M and the letter S for Milestyle with a diamond shape around it. That is the name. That is the name right there, Milestyle University. So yeah, all of our information is there, where we meet up, when we meet up, anything and everything you need to know is right there. And we will answer your questions as quickly and professionally as we can.
Bam, just like that. Miguel Hernandez, founder, Milestyle. Remember,
thank you, sir.
Starting out, remember, if you're starting out, stay in your lane. And also stay in your lane. And also remember this, God gave you 2 feet. Put one foot and step in front of the other and step to what you need to do. Take care of your business. Thank you so much, man. Yeah.
Take care, man. Thank you.
Miguel Hernandez. Thank you, man. Milestyle. Yeah. All right, we'll take a break. I've got a whole lot more. You gonna stick around, Miguel?
Sure.
I want you to check this out. We've got a whole lot more in store for you. Keep it right there and open. That's how we do it.
All right.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS and Bronx Nets Open. We've got another fantastic guest. She's going to come in. She's no stranger to the show. She's been here before. Give her a big round of applause. Everybody is doing it from all over. Linda Collazo, and she's an opera singer. She teaches, and she's going to let us know about the whole thing. Now, she's working for the CDC, but not the Center for Disease Control. Explain.
I work for the Point C.D.C, so you were almost there. You were half right. And I think the CDC for us stands for Community Development Corporation or Center, the CDC. And basically, I've been teaching there for about 3 years, but I have been a participant of the Point since I was about 10 years old. So I grew up there. And
Yeah.
now I'm a teacher there. So they are very loyal to the students who eventually wish to give back.
What is that development corporation all about?
So it's all about free arts education and after school programming
Uh-huh.
for students of the South Bronx. It is a nonprofit in the South Bronx in the Hunts Point area. It is a huge space. I mean, pre-COVID, right now we're all online, but pre-COVID and hopefully post-COVID, the students are able to roam around this large space with lots of different rooms, with
Mhm.
dance rooms, with a computer lab, I think, with a photography studio, a music basement, other offices, other places to sort of lounge around and talk. It is basically a place where a bunch of teaching artists and sort of the people who work there, who are all, for the most part, artists, just create programming for students to explore the arts.
And you're an artist, you're an opera singer, and won many awards. You participated in many opera pieces. Tell us about that.
Well, I'm very fortunate. I went to LaGuardia High School. Luckily, thanks to the Point C.D.C, when I was in the Point C.D.C, I was in band there and I sang. So with that practice, I auditioned for LaGuardia and got in. And then from there, I learned I could sing opera. And, I've sung at Sarasota Opera. I've sung with Martina Arroyo's Prelude to Performance. I was supposed to be in Utah this past summer before COVID hit to work
Yeah.
with Utah Festival for Opera and Musical Theater. But no, I've sung all over. I've sung at Carnegie Hall. I've sung at the United Palace Theater. I've sung at many venues throughout New York City, and with the Bronx Arts Ensemble. But yeah, it's wonderful with the Point C.D.C to give back my knowledge and my experience to the students of the
Yeah.
South.
So you come full circle. Wow. You never
Yeah.
really left CDC.
Oh no, I didn't leave the Point C.D.C at all.
Yeah, yeah. So that's great. Are you planning on going out on tour, or how's that
Me?
going to work? Yeah.
Well, what's so great about now, I'm fully vaccinated. And luckily people are starting to get vaccinated that are also performers. So outdoor venues are starting to open up. So I am reaching out to local vendors, local nonprofits that have outdoor spaces to see if I can do performances with them. It's
You're
all
letting people know that you're letting people know that you're available.
Yeah, and that I'm interested. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to do so with my friends, my colleagues that I enjoy performing with. So we will see in the coming months if things start to happen, but I will say that this has been a great opportunity for me to focus on teaching, not performing, and I'm just so fortunate to still be able to do music, not necessarily performing during this whole time.
But you also showed them, right? Well, while you're teaching, you got to do it like this, and you bring out
Oh
the.
yeah, it is a motivating factor. It is a motivating factor,
Yeah.
not gonna lie. But it has been nice to help create inspiration in my students during this hard, challenging time.
So when you're at that point where you have to teach somebody and show them by example, how do you sound when you do that?
I mean, I just sing like myself, my normal voice, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, 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 ooh. Obviously with less support, because it could be the morning and I'm tired, or I could have had a long day. I do a lot of talking all the time when I teach. It's like 2 hours in a row, sometimes 3 hours in a row of just one student after the other, just going like, hey, what's up? How are you doing? Like making sure I'm
Let me get
speaking.
some of this.
Yeah, making sure I'm speaking in the right places so that way my
Yeah.
voice is tired. So I always have to be very conscious and cognizant of like how I'm using my voice when I'm teaching. So I sing, but I try to limit it as much as I can to preserve my voice.
Zoom doesn't do your voice.
Yeah,
Right.
Zoom,
Yeah.
Zoom, what it does is it thinks music is background noise, so it blocks it
Yeah.
out. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, but we can tell that you have a very, very powerful voice, and we want to thank you for all that you're doing in our community, and especially with the CDC.
The Point C.D.C, yes.
Exactly. Don't get it twisted. All right, so where can we go to see more examples of what you're doing at the Point C.D.C. and in your
Well,
personal life,
you
music?
can go to my website, lindacollazo.com, which is my name.
Uh-huh.
And then if you're interested in learning about my teaching and what I've done with the Point CDC, you can go to lindaclauso.com/lessons. Or when you go to my website, there's a menu option. You can go to lessons. You could also go to thepointcdc.org. So the Point CDC offers many free classes online and eventually in person, including voice classes, which I teach. I teach music, choir, and voice. Um, there's free circus classes. There are ICP classes, which is International Center of Photography, black and white photography, film classes. There are art classes. There are advocacy groups. There are little, I call them like group therapy or there are group meetings with youth to talk about certain issues they may experience based on their age group or demographic. And just overall, just so many options, and they're all free and very accessible.
Any one of the performances in your classrooms stand out in your mind? Anything that sticks out, or do you want to highlight some of the students who are doing well and what you wish for them?
So over the Christmas period during the fall semester, I only had 8 students in my choir class, and they were of very varying ages. There were kids as young as like 6 years old, 7 years old, and then there were also teenagers that were like 15, 16. So it was a little bit difficult to coordinate a final video presentation of them doing a holiday song.
Yeah.
So what I picked was All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. It took a lot of hard work. I was really nervous, especially with the high notes that Mariah Carey hits at the end. But they did it. I mean, with persistence and like pushing them and encouraging them and lots of practice, they did it. And the video came out beautifully. It made me cry. It made my boss cry. It really moved a lot of people at the Point CDC and the parents of the children that performed and teenagers that got to perform. So that was a really rewarding experience for me, and even more so the fact that it was recorded and it's online, it's on YouTube. That's something that you can find if you look it up. All I Want for Christmas Is You, the Point CDC Choir.
And now we have it.
Yeah, I sent it to you guys, so hopefully you'll show a snippet. It's beautiful.
Yeah. All right, great. What's the website again?
The website where you can register to these classes is thepointcdc.org. My website where you can see these videos and like see other things about my teaching is www.lindacollazo.com.
There you go. Thank you so much. She's a voice teacher and piano teacher, and she does the whole thing. She really has a voice, and she's doing a great job down at the Point Community Development Corporation, CDC. Is that the real CDC? Linda Collazo, thank you so much. We appreciate you and love you, and thank you for your service.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here again.
All right. We'll take a break. Bobby C., you're into sports, Linda?
I'm into MMA.
All right. Well, Bobby may have something like that. Stand by. Look, Bobby C. with the latest in sports next.
When taking public transportation, don't touch your phone. Carry hand sanitizer and use it immediately upon leaving the bus or train. Avoid touching your face. If someone is coughing or sneezing, move away. Wash your hands with soap and water as soon as possible. Limit contact with poles. If possible, avoid rush hour. Don't eat or drink on public transportation. Keep your bag off the floor or other surfaces. Avoid directly touching turnstiles. Stay up to date with the latest from your local health department and CDC.
guest this morning was drafted to the big leagues in the 14th round after his high school graduation. He was so impressive in the minor leagues, he earned MVP in the Gulf Coast League, Player of the Year honors in the Carolina League, and a legendary moment in West Virginia in the International League when he hit a home run out of the stadium into a moving train-cold car. The train itself traveled 150 miles to Columbus, Ohio. Having the proverbial longest home run in history isn't where his story stops either. Dave Parker was about the coolest show on turf in the 1970s and 80s, finishing his career with 339 homers, 2,712 hits, 2 batting titles, 7 All-Star games, 3 Gold Gloves, 3 Silver Slugger awards, and an MVP in 1978, and to top it off, 2 World Series rings, including one in 1979 with the We Are Family Pittsburgh Pirates. And that's just some of the story. Good morning, Dave. Thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning.
Well, it's my pleasure.
Dave, you recently released a book about your life and career that goes so far beyond the numbers. You candidly write about some of your mistakes in life and a drug problem that started as pain management and extended pretty much to the headlines at that time. You also detail your current battle with Parkinson's disease. You broke so many barriers and stereotypes in an 18-year career in baseball. What are you most proud of?
Well, the championship with the Pirates. The Pirates gave me the opportunity to play Major League Baseball. And being with the Pirates and the We Are Family team was basically the best team that I had played with. And they really were a family. We were very closely knit. We put together some flamboyant players and then made the Pirates the #1 team in America, I think.
Oh, absolutely. So you end up earning the nickname the Cobra for your trademark, intimidating, bat-weaving, left-handed stance. When was the first time that you can recall hearing that nickname?
Well, we had a trainer by the name of Tony Borderone, who was a big fight fan. And we had a heavyweight champion that was from Cincinnati called Ezra Charles. And Ezra Charles was called the Cincinnati Cobra. So with me being from Cincinnati, they put that tag on me, called me the Cincinnati Cobra. And Tony started it. Bob Prince, the announcer, made it famous.
I also thought it was cool in the book that you detail the fact that you played baseball growing up near Crosley Field, the old ballpark for the Reds, and even played stickball, a game here in the Bronx that I played. The kids today, nobody plays stickball. Everything is video games. But, you ended up playing against the wall of the old ballpark and sold concessions there. Did you ever think that one day you'd actually be playing on a major league field?
Well, I dreamed about playing on a major league team. Most kids that grew up in their neighborhoods and had a major league team always dreamed of playing at the major league level. And I was just like those kids. I dreamed of playing at the major league level.
The cover jacket of the book, Dave, has you in your Pirates uniform, but you also spent some really great times in other cities, which of course is detailed in the book, and that includes Cincinnati. What was it like to return home and play for Pete Rose?
It was great. It was great playing against Pete, and it was even greater playing with him. Pete played the game the way it should have been played, at 100% every time he was on the field. It was a thrill being on the field when he broke the record.
So you finished your career with a 290 career average and also finished, second in MVP voting in 1985. You win that World Series in 1989 with Oakland, serving pretty much as a DH and a veteran presence for the young Bash brothers. I'm not really saying this, of course, because you're on with us, but you really did just about everything. You've accomplished everything in your baseball career. Definitely more than enough to merit going to Cooperstown. What would it mean to you to be enshrined there?
It would be nice. It would be nice for my family, my wife and my kids. But I don't know what else I could do to be considered a Hall of Famer. I was the best player in baseball for about half of the time I was in the major leagues. Did everything that you can do, batting titles, MVP, Silver Slugger, was considered the best player in the game. Was a hired gun in my latter years. playing with Oakland. They needed one player to get them over the hump. They got me, and I provided, a service to them, made them win 2 back-to-back world championships. So the Hall of Fame, I think I might rather have a plaque of guys I played with.
And you are already a member of the Reds Hall of Fame, the Cincinnati Public Schools Hall of Fame, and even several minor league Hall of Fames.
Yeah, I did everything you could do. I didn't leave no stone unturned. I played the game hard, was blessed with some outstanding speed, outstanding throwing arm. I had everything working for me, and I didn't squander it.
The book also obviously details some things that are tough, I would say, for many to read, and that includes receiving racist and threatening notes during your professional career. We just celebrated Jackie Robinson Day in the month of April in baseball, but despite years rolling by, the climate in the world and perhaps even baseball really hasn't changed very much. Do you foresee the possibility that we could finally be addressing that?
Yeah, I hope so. And I think that sports do more for racial problems that we have in our society than any other industry. So I hope we're meeting a turn in the way society is and the way that we approach and deal with each other. Sports is going to be a key in it, and I see indications of it happening every day: football, basketball, and baseball.
I know you also work with youth in Ohio to grow the game of baseball. Do you think more young Black kids will decide to play the game? Because it's really been an issue in Major League Baseball.
Well, they need to promote the game more. Some of these stars that are getting this 300 million and 400 million should obligate themselves to promoting the game of baseball. I mean, we need some minorities in here. We got a lot of Latin Americans, but there's very few African Americans that's playing it. And I think it's hurting the game in the long run.
Absolutely, 100%. And Dave, before we let you go, I just wanted, to get some more insight. I was hoping you could tell us a little bit about the Dave Parker 39 Foundation, an organization that's focused on finding a cure for Parkinson's disease.
Well, I have a foundation called the 39 Foundation, and I got involved with Parkinson's organization about 7 years ago. And I've been doing fundraisers, golf tournaments. We raised $48,000 in October for a golf tournament. And we want to emphasize research with the dollars that we raise. And hopefully we get lucky and find a cure or something to ease the pain of Parkinson's, because you never know what you're going to get. You wake up one morning and you feel perfectly normal, and you come back and wake up the next day and your legs ain't working right, and you're trembling. You got various things, just like I froze then. But this is the kind of stuff you got to deal with Parkinson's.
I'm so sorry to hear that, Dave. Obviously I hope that with the continued effort of your organization, that be able to get more people to donate and to be on board with trying to help the cause and to help those that are struggling with Parkinson's.
Well, I hope so too. But in the meantime, we're going to continue to march on and try to find a cure for this thing.
And the book is great, with comments at the start of each chapter from other baseball legends, including former Yankees Dave Winfield and Willie Randolph. Dave Parker tells an epic tale of friendship, success, failure, and redemption in his new book. Cobra is an unforgettable story of a $1 million athlete just before baseball became a $1 billion game. Pick it up, available at all major retailers. Thank you so much, Dave, for stopping by the show. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, and that was a great interview.
We built a media network for you.
BronxNet TV.
Come learn in your new state-of-the-art studios at Lehman College.
At Mercy College.
And coming soon to the South Bronx in the Hub.
Inspire with your stories, culture, history.
Your Bronx. on BronxNet.
Engage with us.
Connect with us at your channels and at bronxnet.tv.
Learn, engage, inspire. BronxNet TV.
From the Bronx
To the world.
BronxNet.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Doc Bob Lee. You're watching Open on Channel 67. Of course, I'm on 107.5 WBLS, and we've got it going on for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Tune us in and check us out. There's always something good on there. Our next guest is a retired NYPD detective, as well as an educator, an empowerment speaker, an entrepreneur. And guess what? He joins us today to speak about the work that he's doing with his organization, Forward Motion Life Success Incorporated, which focuses on changing negative mindsets of youth, dealing with law enforcement and the legal system. So please welcome to the show, Dr. Alfred Titus Jr. The doctor is in the house.
Hello, Bob. How are you? It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for coming. Now, you've been down for a while with the NYPD,
Yes.
and you know how this works. You've been through Harmony Days and National Nights Out and all of those
Yes.
things. You know all about it. And first of all, tell us about your career with the NYPD, and then I want to get into how do we continue to make the NYPD and community work in harmony.
Right. Well, Bob, I had a great year. I had a great career with NYPD. I was there for almost 25 years. And, I worked in the community. I worked as a homicide detective and a hostage negotiator. And I really got a lot out of the job. I was able to work with the community with different cases that we were working on and speak to the youth. And, NYPD is the type of organization where it gives you the freedom to some degree to be able to interact with the youth and help where possible. However, I realized that I was reaching the youth, but not the way I needed to reach the youth. I decided to retire. And once I retired, I decided that I'm going to go back into the community and reach even further.
Yeah. And that's when you started your organization, Forward Motion Life Success Incorporated.
Exactly. And that organization now allows me to go back into the community and continue where I left off. NYPD, I was fortunate enough to get my education through NYPD, which is something that a lot of people are not aware of. There are a lot of scholarships and things like that. And there are a lot of opportunities that open up to you. So my goal is to encourage our youth to get involved and to focus on their future. There is a lot going on in the world right now with the racial issues, the police brutality, everything that's going on. COVID 2020 was a very tough year. And a lot of our youth are stuck. They're not sure which way to go. They're not sure what their future looks like. My program opens their minds. It changes their mindsets and allows them to see that in addition to doing what they're doing to make sure that our world is right for us, that they also have to focus on their own lives. They have to get involved with certain situations. They have to educate themselves. They have to move forward. And my program is a very powerful program, and it's for parents, youth, and educators, because there are things that we as parents need to do to help our young people stay engaged.
Yeah. And there are two different views to that. The community sees the NYPD or the police department in one light, and then the police department sees, not all, but sees the community a certain way too. What's the mindset of the NYPD? And I know a lot. I have a lot of friends there, and they go there and they want to really, really police the right way. But then when you see things like George Floyd being choked off, it just throws the whole thing up in the air again and creates a whole nother situation. And so then there's that mistrust. How do we gain that trust and create that harmony again between the community and the NYPD?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And you're absolutely right. There are a lot of issues here. And as being someone who's been in law enforcement and NYPD in particular for so long, there are a lot of problems, Bob. There are a lot of problems. And one way, there are two things that I feel that we as a people need to do. Number one, we need to get into NYPD. We need more African Americans, more minorities on the job, so that when these decisions and policies and procedures are coming down, we're part of making these decisions. And we're part of creating policies that are long lasting and not temporary. The other thing that we need to do is be willing to come to the table as a community to speak with NYPD when they open their doors and when they have these community meetings. We need to get involved and stay involved. And it doesn't have to be a angry fighting type of a thing. It can be a mutually respectful conversation that we have, and we stay engaged to make sure that our needs are being met.
I see more days like Harmony Days or National Night Out,
yes,
put together by the NYPD or police departments across the country to engage our community and organizations like yours. I mean, you can get members from the NYPD and members from the community to be a part of your organization.
Absolutely.
And drive it right through, drive that message right there, because you've been there,
yes,
and you're in the community. So
yes,
it's like perfect.
Absolutely. That is the good thing about my program. It comes from both sides. As an African American, as someone who has dealt with the police prior to becoming law enforcement, and then now being on the other side. But my program, and I just want to remind everyone, my program, I'm having a webinar on May 19th at 7 p.m. The information is on Eventbrite. It's called Conversations with Dr. Al. I will be having these webinars once a month. And this month's topic on May 19th is After the Verdict. Where do we go from here? And it is for parents, youth, and educators. And the goal here is to open the conversation on what we need to do now that the verdict has been dropped and things are happening, things are changing. We need to prepare ourselves to be in the right place for the future to keep our people on point, to keep us moving in the right direction. So parents can pick up tips on how to talk to their youth, how to talk to their young people, and how to get them involved. Educators, when they teachers, people who have organizations, and the youth as well. What's the next step? What's the mindset we need to move forward and to stay where we're going?
And can you give us a little insight as to what that can be, the mindset that we need, or play that song, Where Do We Go From Here?
Exactly. Well, one of the important things that we have to do is be able to maintain our focus. There are a lot of distractions that are occurring around us. There are still going to be events that occur, unfortunate events that have happened with the police, until things are really straightened out. It's going to continue to happen. We have to maintain our focus. I know a lot of our youth are focused on protesting and things like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when the protest is over, let's get back on our grind. Let's get ourselves a 5-year plan together. Let's get ourselves a 3-year plan. Where are we going to be a year from now?
Yeah.
Where are we taking our lives? Are we going to go back to school? Do we want to start our own business? Let's get these plans going. Let's change our mindsets so that we can now move forward. And that's the focus of the webinar and the workshops and the speaking that I do to groups and schools.
So that's May the 19th.
May 19th, it's a Zoom webinar. The information, you can get it on Eventbrite. Again, it's Conversations with Dr. Al. After the Verdict, where do we go from here? And also on my website, which is www.forwardmotionlifesuccess.org. It's a nonprofit organization, and the goal is to help the community, to help move our people forward.
Yeah. And you've come out of a police department that helped you get a lot of the things that you need as far as education.
Exactly.
You got your master's, you got your PhD from there,
Absolutely.
they have those scholarships there.
Yes, absolutely. And I also have two books that you'll see on the website. One is a forward motion book, which is geared towards some of the information I'm talking about in the webinar and in my speaking and workshops. It's a motivational empowerment book. And then I have a book on policing that shows the personal side of policing, what it's like to be a police officer. And that is important because we need more of our people to get on the job and in these key positions. So by reading the police book, they can also see what it's really like to be on the inside.
There you go.
Yeah.
And are you involved in social media, websites?
Yes. So I gave you the website, forwardmotionlifesuccess.org. The information for the workshop is there as well. I'm on Facebook, Forward Motion, and Instagram, Forward Motion, everything, I'm on all of the media platforms.
All right, there you go.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Detective?
Yes.
All right. Dr. Alfred Titus, Professor, Retired NYPD Detective, Founder and CEO, Forward Motion Life Success Incorporated. He has the books out there, got the knowledge of what to do, what to say, how to be, all of that on that website. And that website again is
Forward Motion Life Success, all one word, .org.
We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take
nice
care.
To see you.
Be safe.
And we'll meet up in the community. All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Unfortunately, that's all we have for today's show. I want to thank you, our viewer, for tuning in and checking it all out. We've got a whole lot in store for you right here. You can continue watching, be a part of it. Follow BronxNet TV for continued coverage. I want to thank you for letting me share in this space and time with you. For all of us here at BronxNet, have a great and enjoyable day. And always remember this: what you are is God's gift to you. What you make of yourself is your gift to God. So choose your choice. Let your choice control the choosing. The Dr. Bob Lee. I'll see you over 107.5 WBLS. I love you all. Peace.